This is my moment, watch me shine. I'm unstoppable, feel it in my soul. Good vibes only, I'm in control. Turn the music up, let the rhythm roll. I move my body, I'm alive, I glow. Unstoppable, dancing through the fire. Every step higher, taking me higher. Smile so big, can't hold it in. Good vibes, good life, let's begin. Every scar made me wiser. Every tear lit the fire. I don't fear what's ahead.
Hello, everybody. This is Arnel. I am the face behind this personal business and my YouTube page, guys. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I am so grateful to be here as this is my day 20. 20, 5, 10, 15, 20. And tonight I'll be talking about this contrarian take. And the topic for tonight of this day 20 of this Go Live Challenge is all about an unpopular opinion about hustle, right? And I'll be sharing about the challenge, the grind, the narrative, and anchor it in faith and purpose over burnout. So thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in with me, everyone. For those of you who doesn't know me, my name is Araneth. I've been doing a business for 6 years right now, and also I've been in the banking industry for 20 years, and gonna be sharing about this topic tonight. And I'm so excited, right? So drop me where you're coming from, where you're tuning in, as this is a part of this go live. I just really want to interact with you guys, and also sharing what my input about the topic tonight. So again, my unpopular opinion about hustle, right? My unpopular opinion about hustle. Wow, that's a good one. So let me actually, okay. Yes, okay. It's all good now. Wonderful. Yeah, so again, welcome to my day 20 of my 30-day Go Live challenge. 20 days already, and tonight I want to talk about something that might be little unpopular, especially in the business world, especially online, because we hear this all the time. Hustle harder, sleep when you're successful, outwork everybody, keep grinding, do more, right? And here's my unpopular opinion. I don't believe you have to burn yourself out to prove how badly you want your dream, right? Let me say that again. I don't believe you have to burn yourself out to prove how badly you want your dream. You do not you do not have to destroy your peace, your health, your family time, or yourself just to prove that you're serious about business or serious about the success of your business or what you're doing currently. And I'm saying this as someone who believes deeply in hard work. I'm not afraid of hard work. I've worked hard practically my entire life. I built a career. I became a leader. I've raised children while working. I built a business. I've studied. I've attended trainings. I stayed up late. I've gotten up early. I've sacrificed. So this isn't me saying don't work hard. This is me saying know why you're working so hard, because there's a difference between working with purpose and working because you believe your worth depends on how exhausted you are. I used to think being busy meant I was productive. For years, guys, I was always doing something. I work, family, responsibilities, goals, business, helping other people, planning the next step. And sometimes when you're hardworking, right? When you're a hardworking woman or a mama or whatever you're doing right now, being busy almost becomes part of your identity. Someone asks, how are you? And what do we say? I'm busy. right? But eventually, guys, I started asking myself, am I actually moving forward or I am just moving? It's just like comparing it when you're scrolling. You're telling yourself that, oh, I'm busy doing something, but are you actually, what what are you busy for? Busy scrolling something on social media, right? Yeah, because can you close the door? Ocean, please. Thank you. Yeah, but actually, because those are the two completely different things, guys. You can have full calendar and still not be moving towards the life you actually want. You can have 100 emails, but you can sit in meeting all day, right? You can work 12 hours. You can check 50 things off your list and still avoid the one thing that would actually move your life or business forward, that change how I look at productivity. Hard work is important, direction is more important, right? Imagine two people, right? One person work 12 hours every single day doing random activities. Another person, that makes me guilty because I was that person in the past. Another person works 3 hours, focus hours on activities that actually create results, right? So, who is really being productive? Of course, the person who only works for 3 hours, right? That's something I've had to learn in business. More activity doesn't automatically mean more results. Sometimes the answer isn't work harder. Sometimes the answer is get clearer. You work smart, right? What is the goal? Actually what activity, I mean, what activity actually moves that goal? What can I stop doing? What can I automate, right? What can I delegate? And what do I need to learn? Or do I need the mentorship, right? And that is simply distracting me. And I mean, and what is simply distracting me? Rewind that, right? And that's a completely different way of working. And this become even more important to me as a mom because here's the part nobody talks about. You know, if your definition of success requires you to sacrifice everything you want success for, then what you're building, right? Think about that. Many parents want more income because they want more choices or options for their family. And one of them is to experience flexibility, right? To wanted to be more present with their family, want to travel, right? Want to help their parents and want to give other children and opportunities. But sometimes we become so consumed with building the future that we stop experiencing the people we're building it for, right? And I have had to remind myself of that too. My children are growing. I have 6 years old and 12 years old. They don't stay little forever. There will always be another goal, another rank, right? Another project, another probably business target, another opportunity, right? But there will never be another version of my children at the exact age they are today. And that really hits me. That really matters to me. My goal isn't to skip work. I actually love working. I love learning. I love business. I love personal development. I love helping people. What else? I love creating and seeing people grow, but I don't want to build another prison and call it freedom, right? I want to build something that supports my life, and I want the woman, I help to understand that too, or the mom or the parents, right? Especially hardworking women, right? Especially migrants who sometimes feel like we have to work twice as hard to prove ourselves, right? You don't need another thing that consumes every minute of your life. I think we basically need skills, the system, the mentorship, and the consistency itself. And you need to understand which activities actually creates result. And here's another unpopular opinion: rest is productive. right? I used to struggle with this before, guys, to be honest, to be transparent with you guys. Because when you're ambitious, resting can make you feel guilty. You're sitting down and your brain is saying you could be working. Anybody else? Anybody else agree with that? You take a day off and suddenly you're thinking about everything you should be doing, right? I've learned something. You make very difficult decisions when you're exhausted. Your patience is different, your creativity is different. What else? Your leadership is different too, and reactions are different, and your ability to solve problems is also different. And sometimes stepping away gives you the clarity you couldn't find while forcing yourself to keep going, diba? Rest doesn't mean you've lost your ambition. It means you're human. Faith faith changed my perspective on this too. Guys, there was a time when I thought everything depended on me. I need to make it happen, to figure it out, to control the outcome. But my faith has taught me something different. I have a responsibility to take action, but I don't have to live in fear while taking that action. So I can pray, I can listen, I can prepare, I can work, I can serve, right? I can become better by being better 1% every single day. And then I can trust God with the things I cannot control too. And that's very different from from frantic hustle, right? For me, faith doesn't replace action. What I believe, right? Faith changes the energy behind the action. So yeah. And the only thing that really changes everything for me is that's where the gratitude comes to play. Of course, being intentional as well, and you have to have a purpose why you're doing that. And I want you to remember these words too, that purpose over pressure, because pressure will tell you you're behind. Everyone is ahead of you. You're not doing enough, right? You should already be successful, right? Purpose asks a different question. What is mine to do today? Maybe today your job is to make 5 meaningful connections, right? Maybe today is following up with someone, with your prospects. Maybe today is learning one skill. Just especially today, I've been really busy finishing the project that I am doing, that, oh my gosh, like learning all the CRM, building the CRM and stuff like that. Can you believe that I actually built someone else's website yesterday? Like this is so funny because it's just a little, because I've been learning how to use AI now, expanding. That's something that I put on my monthly goal, is to learn something new and to remove a mess. Like if I did clean my office. I actually clean all the closets here in the house and the cabinets here in the kitchen, anything like that. That's basically what I did. Clean the house. That is the mess that I need to do this month. And I had to learn something new also this month, right? And to acknowledge someone also this month. Those are the part of my monthly goal. And I had to do something that boosts my business as well, or to create more money. And that's where the thought that, what, I can use what I am learning in AI to create an ebook. And I basically created an ebook, right? All the teachings of my mentor Bob, and all the lessons that I've learned from a book that I implemented in my life. And uh, this is the one that really helps me manifest all the things that I did, just like this how I manifested this house through constant following and repetition and visualization of what I've learned from my mentor. And then I put that in the ebook. And then when I finished that, applying what I've been learning in AI, right? and I publish. I think I've been doing that for 5 hours, like in the evening, and then I just post it at night, and then I finish it on the next day, and I publish it immediately, and boom, I get sales. So there's so many things that you can do, and that's a part of my monthly processes, so yeah, so there's so many things that you can actually do to boost your income, earn additional stream of income using the resources that you have in front of you too, right? So, yeah, you don't need to do everything today. You need to do the right things consistently. This is something I learned through personal development, guys. I'm a student of Bob Proctor, and one of the biggest things I've learned through studying personal development is that your results aren't simply about physical effort. Your thinking matters. If that thought comes, like, why this thought just randomly visited your mind, and it's telling you, it's only your awareness can understand that, like, why is this thought all of a sudden comes, just check in on my conscious, unconscious awareness, right, on my conscious mind. And then this is something that can boost my income, monthly. And then this is, and if you think that this is the one that serves you, then accept it emotionally, and that's basically what I did. And I implemented the thought, and then boom, and then I've been creating, because I have an Instagram, so I've been publishing it in Instagram, not the current Instagram that I have, right? Yeah, so your thinking matters, your self-image matters too, your habits, your belief, and your decision matters, because you can work incredibly hard while operating from fear. You can work incredibly hard while repeating the same habits, and I heard this one all the time from one of my mentors, that you can do things over and over and over again, and and what is that? You can do things over and over again and then accepting the same result, right? And that's insanity for me, right? You have to, like, if this is the habits that you have been doing over and over again, and then it's not, your result is not changing, then it's telling you something, that you have to change the habit, right? So, you're actually answering the question, like, why I'm doing this, that's why you have to borrow other people's habit, because if your habit is not working for you, then for me, you have to borrow someone else that that are successful. Don't borrow someone else who are still in the same spot, right? You have to borrow someone else belief in order for you to grow, right? So yeah, and eventually you'll wonder, like, why I am exhausted, right? But still in the same place. Sometimes growth requires more effort, but sometimes growth requires a new way of thinking too. Think about your own life. And I really want you to ask yourself something tonight. What am I currently doing because I believe I have to, instead of because it actually supports the life I'm trying to create? Really, really think about it. Maybe you're saying yes to everything. Maybe you're comparing yourself to someone online, and maybe you're trying to post 5 times a day because someone told you that's what successful people do, right? Maybe you're working until midnight every night, and maybe you're afraid to slow down because you think someone will pass you. Maybe you've connected your identity to productivity, right? Maybe you're afraid that if you stop moving, you'll have to face how tired you really are. And I totally understand that. But you don't receive a trophy for being the most exhausted person in the room. And here's what I'm practicing now, Before I start working, I ask, what are the highest impact things I can do today? Not the 27 things, not the important things. What moves the business? What serves people? What moves me towards my goal? What needs my attention, right? Then I work for it. Then I stay focused. And when it's time to be with my family, I want to actually be with my family. And I'm still learning this, guys. That's why I'm here. But the door is widely open. My kids can come in in and out here in the office because technically this is not my working hour, right? And I'm still growing, right? I don't always get the balance perfect, and but I'm much more aware now because I don't want success at the expense of myself too. You can be ambitious and peaceful. I think sometimes we're thought that we have to choose either you're ambitious or peaceful, right? Either you're successful or you're present. Either you're building wealth or prioritizing your family. I don't accept that. I believe we can become smarter about how we build, right? You can have goals, big goals. You can want financial freedom. You can want to build a successful business. You can want to impact thousands of people, and you can want the income, the travel, the beautiful home, whatever it is. And there's nothing wrong with wanting more, you know that's why it's so important to ask ourselves every single day, like, who am I becoming while I pursue it? And that's so important, guys, because the goal isn't only the destination. The person you becoming matters too. For the person, that's why for the person watching right now, right, who this is who is tired, actually. This is for the people who is tired. Maybe you're working full time, you're raising children, you're paying bills, you're taking care of everybody, and somewhere underneath all those responsibilities there's still a dream inside you. So please don't interpret tonight's message as me telling you to give up on that dream. No, I'm telling you the opposite. Protect it, work towards it, learn, build, take action, right? But don't believe that suffering is the price you have to pay to deserve it. You don't need to build everything overnight, guys. That's why you have to give your permission to build consistently. Just one day at a time, one decision at a time, one skill set at a time, one conversation, and one courageous action at a time, too. Because again, consistently will take your places, intensity cannot. Anybody can become motivated for 3 days. Anybody can grind for a week, but can you build habits that you can maintain for years? That's what I'm interested in, because I'm not trying to build something that lasts for 30 days. I'm building a life, a legacy, you know. For my family, I'm becoming the person capable of handling things that I'm asking God for, right? And that takes time, right? So here is my unpopular opinion about hustle, and that's the topic for tonight. La work hard, absolutely. You know, be disciplined, absolutely. Keep your word to yourself, absolutely. Show up when you don't feel like it, of course. But don't worship exhaustion. Don't confuse burnout with ambition too. And don't compare your pace with someone else's highlight. Okay? Don't sacrifice your health, your peace, because someone online told you that sleeping 4 hours a night is what successful people do. No, build intelligently, be intentional and consistently. All right? And build something that actually supports the life you want to live. So, again, before I end tonight, I want you guys to answer this question. Are you working from purpose or are you working from pressure? Because maybe the next level of your life doesn't require you to do more. Maybe it requires you to become clearer about what deserves your energy. So for me, I'm choosing faith over fear, and that's so popular words that comes from many of my business partners. Faith over fear, purpose over pressure, consistency over burnout, and intentional actions over endless hassle. I still have big dreams, big goals, work hard, but I'm learning that I don't have to lose myself on the way there. And neither do you. Yeah, so this is my day 20 of my 30-day Go Live challenge. If this message spoke to you tonight, Tell me in the comments. Purpose over pressure. You know? And ask yourself before you go to sleep tonight too. What would success look like if I didn't have to sacrifice myself to achieve it? Right? So that's it for me, guys. I'll see you tomorrow for day 21. Good night, everyone. And thank you for those people who are watching currently. Thank you, Devinder. From New Zealand, thank you to my beautiful accountability partner. Yes, I agree. Hard work takes us somewhere. So for me, this business is just a piece of a pie. Indeed, it's working with a purpose in our business. Yeah, that's right. It's all about purpose. You're doing your purpose work, and that purpose work is to serve your people, to share the blessing, to share what you got, right? So that's it for me, everybody. Thank you so much, and I'll see you mañana. Thank you.
This is my moment, watch me shine. I'm unstoppable, feel it in my soul.